Schmoes show, we get funky. I'm the infamous Ryan, and I'm funky.
I'm Chiral, and I'm only a schmo.
And this is the Two Schmoes show. Although you did probably get like what I would call the funkiest line so far.
Mm.
How are we doing this week, Kyril?
It's a weird one. It's
Is it?
kind of slow, but there's just like so much going on that is just like worth rolling your eyes at, but not talking about, you know?
It is a B tier news story week. Nothing
Yeah,
to like make headlines, but definitely nothing like to like ignore.
for sure.
Yes.
There's been so much stuff with like, what was it? The Anheuser-Busch going woke. It's just stupid. It's just stupid.
Did you see the video of the dude that was like freaking out at like a Walmart alcohol aisle where
Yeah,
he's
just chucking stuff on the ground.
dude, I wish I was that
Yeah, what the
petty.
hell? Oh, and he got arrested because of course he did. It's just stupid.
Mm. What did he think he was going to get out of that?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I genuinely think it's the same thing that has the like we've had God, how many? Like four? Probably closer to like six that have made the news of these cases of people like doing literally nothing and being shot over it.
So, yeah.
Like we in the last 2 weeks, just off the top of my head, there was a pregnant woman at like a CVS or something that one of the employees of that CVS thought had stolen something. So they shot her twice over stealing
Yeah.
something. There was a black kid that got shot by having the wrong address and ringing the person's doorbell.
That is literally the most stupid thing I've ever heard.
There was an almost identical case in New York where somebody pulled into somebody's driveway to turn around and was driving away and got shot and killed as they were driving away.
Wasn't that like the DoorDash person as well?
And then, yeah, there was that one as well where it was the same thing, where somebody had the wrong address. And of course, the only way to reconcile that is to shoot and kill them.
What is the deal with that? Like shoot on sight mentality.
So here's liberal bias eye roll.
Ooh.
It's the same shit as the Anheuser-Busch going woke thing, right? You have these people who get all their news from, very biased sources, and those biased sources tell them to be scared shitless about every little thing that's happening, and it has them completely on edge, and they feel like violence is the only way to come to an answer for that, whether it's fear that makes you feel angry when you're at Walmart or a black guy ringing your doorbell. It all comes from the same place of bad, not even bad, like outright malicious reporting.
You're right. It's all a fear-based agenda.
Yeah. And,
Yeah.
it's never been a secret, but now more than ever with the disappointing result of the Dominion lawsuit over their voting machines resulting in a settlement, we've had this, news spat of information that is like, yeah, these people aren't just being ignorant about what their news reporting is doing. It's very willful and intentional. They know what they are reporting on is false. They know the people they're bringing on to have these interviews are going to lie, and they won't do anything to stop them.
That was like the whole point of like their whole what's the word I'm
Yeah,
looking for? Lawsuit, like defense was like, "Oh yeah,
right.
we know it was lies."
But
Why?
we didn't tell the lies. It was our guests.
Which there
And
should be a vicarious liability attached to that.
well, and I don't know. We don't have the full details of what the settlement is. I don't believe yet. All we know is what Dominion's lawyer said, that it was like 780 million, something like that. Um, Beyond the strict dollar amount, we haven't heard a ton of details yet. But yeah, it's probably going to not come with any sort of admission of wrongdoing.
Oh,
because
hell
that's how
no.
these settlements tend to go.
Yeah.
Fox put out a very, weak statement in the aftermath of it that was, like, we're sorry you thought that way about us, kind of thing. Not actually saying they're sorry for what they did, but it's just like, we're sorry you thought we did something bad.
But you did do something bad.
That they did. And they still have oh man, the other voting system lawsuit.
There's a second one?
Um, there is. Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, that's
I can't
not going to
remember what
go
the name
well
of
for
it
them.
is. No, and it was basically the same scale, so they're going to be out, at least another $780 million at least here. So the whole thing's very disappointing that it went to a settlement at all. I am not surprised particularly, given that all of these, like Dominion could close tomorrow, right? The whoever owns the company doesn't care what happens to it at this point. They got their bag and they're going to run with it.
I mean, at this
Um,
point, like, did you really think they would last? Like, I don't see a point in, like, bleeding out Fox News when they have the whole RNC's Department of Lawyers probably out there to protect them. Um, I just think there's too much of an interest in keeping them afloat that to really be able to do damage from one source like that.
For sure. The main thing for me is that I just would have liked to have seen it go to a trial. With as much of a slam dunk as it is, having it go to a trial so that they can't settle their way out of non-monetary punishments. Have a judge and jury say, yeah, you have to issue a public apology on your own stations, kind of thing. That's all I
Yeah.
want. Like, the
Yeah.
money doesn't matter. I want them to tell their own viewers at prime hours, we lied to you.
That'd be great. They wouldn't do it.
No, they won't, and that's why they settled. That's why they paid almost $1 billion to settle, and they'll probably do it again in a couple of weeks.
Oh, hell yeah.
The I don't even want to call it big news because it's like not that big. I guess the biggest news from the U.S. perspective is the Supreme Court finally gave a it's not really a ruling. They have issued a stay of a lower judge's appeals court order that put the national mifepristone ban in place, or that tried to, at least.
Mm-hmm.
So the Fifth Circuit of Appeals in Texas is currently hearing an appeal on the. It's it's hard to frame this in any way that is both, not sounding completely biased and also is accurate, right? It's the kind of thing where the premise of this court case is so weak and flimsy that if I try to describe it in a way that is in any way charitable, I would be lying by omission, by leaving information out. It's really that kind of situation. So I guess, we don't have anything else to talk about. Let's go into some weeds on it, right? Why not?
Ooh.
Mifepristone is the prevailing OTC. I don't know if it's quite OTC. It is the prevailing means of terminating early abortions by medication. It
Mm-hmm.
is a pill that can be taken that can induce an abortion. It's not super complicated as to what it does. It has been approved by the FDA to be safe for use for the last 23 years, since about the year 2000. It's been in use. It's very popular, very widely used in pretty much every US state. And critically, it is not exclusively used for abortion. Like any drug, that is probably the primary use case, almost without question, but it's not exclusive to that.
But Chiral, drugs are
Yeah.
only made for one purpose. I mean, look at Viagra. That didn't have any other intended use when it was made.
Nobody tried to use hydroxychloroquine for anything other than its intended purpose.
What the fuck is that?
The fake COVID vaccine stuff that the
Oh,
Republicans were trying, that was very much not made for COVID.
The horse dewormer.
That was different.
Oh,
Hydroxychloroquine, I think, is anti-malarial. I'd have to look it up again.
uh,
It's an antiviral something, but very much not for COVID. And after extensive scientific study has been confirmed to still not be effective against COVID.
Damn. When will it be effective against COVID, Kyril?
Presumably after Trump wins the 2024 election and he starts spouting off about it again.
Fuck. Wasn't there also like a point where he was like, drink a little bleach and that will also clean it up?
Oh yeah, probably.
Fucking
I think it was
love
that
him.
was I think more injecting
Yeah.
was what I was talking about. But yeah, same idea. Both very much not good for you. For the Mephiperstone though, the very flimsy basis for this court case starts with the idea that doctors in the US are suing what I guess would effectively be the federal government, saying they're suing on behalf of their patients who are not named, saying that mifepristone has side effects that are not listed or are not recognized that cause them undue harm in the form of like psychological trauma by dealing with these side effects that they otherwise wouldn't.
Now they care about mental health?
Yeah, well, no, they don't. They care about their patients coming to them with problems that they expect to be treated, like they pay them or something.
Oh, Jesus.
It is genuinely that dumb. And there's many tiers of problems to this, right? The first being that the harm that these doctors are claiming doesn't really exist. Like, if you're a doctor and you have a patient that's prescribed something, you can't claim that you're being harmed in some way because the drug that your patient is taking causes you to have to do your job. That's like just kind of at a fundamental level, not how any of that works. And if there are people that are actually experiencing unwanted or unreported, symptoms that the FDA would apparently not be aware of when it came to the approval of this drug, they would have to be the ones to file this lawsuit, not the doctors. Because, again, those would be the people who were actually harmed. The doctors that are doing this aren't. And this is what I mean, like, the doctors aren't the ones being harmed. Among the people who filed this, there's like a dentist. Because
Fucking
dentists
what?
are so commonly dealing with abortions. Every day you pull a cavity out, there's an abortion. No, it is literally like that stupid. Where these are people who can't demonstrate harm, who don't have standing in this. And the reality of it is that even if they did, the FDA process for approval of these drugs isn't really something that could be challenged in this way through the court systems. There are ways that people can request, like reviews of drugs through, systems that have already been set up. And when a drug is going through the process of being approved for the first time, there's years of research and analysis going into first the approval. And then on the other side of that approval process, a 6-year open window where if anything does start to happen, side effects that couldn't be caught due to time that was done in the earlier trials, for example, there's a 6-year window where problems can be brought forward without question to raise those problems. But we're 23 years later now. So the idea that, oh, all of the sudden there's this harm that's being done that was never caught before now seems dubious at the very least. I think that is the most charitable way that I can describe it, short of them just lying.
I like that word, dubious. That's a really good way
Yeah.
of putting it.
So this went through initially it was, they did some judge shopping like they always do. It's helped that that's a thing that exists in the first place, but welcome to America. um they did some judge shopping down in Texas. They were able to get this in front of a judge that uh is very, you know not necessarily, probably wouldn't say it, but their leanings when it comes to these sorts of cases is not a mystery. So they, of course, very quickly moved it through their court and ruled in favor of these doctors and issued the uh, initial part of this saying that these damages were legitimate. Well, the U.S. Department of Justice, of course, appealed this. Goes to with the structure of the courts up to Texas's Fifth Circuit, which is also predominantly conservative. Good on you can thank Mitch McConnell for that during Obama's tenure for not approving justices and then firing him off during Trump's. Uh, where it came because they're still doing arguments in that circuit in the Fifth, and that process isn't done yet. But as part of that, the idea being, because like in a normal court case, if some harm is happening, the judges can issue a stay to try and stop further harm from occurring while the case is being decided. It makes sense, right?
Yeah.
In this case, the Fifth Circuit decided to issue a stay nationally restricting access to mifepristone, which is clearly, like this, like a sniff test level.
Yeah.
Like reading the headline, that clearly doesn't make sense, and that should not be how the government should function.
You're telling me a guy in Texas can't just restrict my rights?
Yeah, right. It's very stupid. But they did that within the, you know, broad conceptual legal frameworks. There's nothing, explicit like constitutionally that says that can't happen. So they did it anyways. In response to that, the DOJ immediately appealed this up to the Supreme Court. And I would be very curious to know who the team is that's working on this, because the terms that these court systems they've been dealing with have been like just like stupid levels of stupid. Like, yeah, here's this decision. You have 12 hours to respond. Kind of stupid. But they did. They were able to get what they needed to do done. So credit to them for that. At the same time, a federal judge in Washington state issued a stay of their own, saying the opposite, to preserve access to mifepristone nationally, which ended up bringing it to a head in front of the Supreme Court. Going back to this week now, the Supreme Court was expected to rule on this on Wednesday, and they didn't. They ended up pushing it to Friday, which nobody knows exactly like what happened, who needed more convincing one way or the other. But the end result of it was that the Supreme Court overruled the stay that the Fifth Circuit put in place. So while this court case is ongoing, the access to mifepristone will remain available throughout the U.S. From that, though, we also got some really interesting little nuggets that came out of it, because given that this isn't like a full ruling on the court case before them, they didn't have to like issue the normal statements that they would have to that specifically says who is on what side and is of what opinion, what is their legal basis. They just said, no, you can't do that, we're voiding your stay, finish doing your job with your appeal stuff. But they have the option to do so voluntarily. And as a part of that, we got a kind of 7. We know that up to 7 of the justices voted to overturn the lower court's stay of the use of mifepristone, which is what ended up happening. We know for a fact that 2 of them voted against it, which is mind-blowing in the first place that they would dissent in something so cut and dry. But regardless, the really interesting part of it came from, I believe, Alito's dissent in it, where he basically said that he was ruling against this because, in his opinion, his ruling didn't matter as Supreme Court, and that the FDA would continue to do whatever they want to regardless.
I'm going to grab a pillow real quick and scream.
Yeah.
Because
So that's where we're at right now.
if anybody's opinion mattered in this country, right?
Yeah.
You would
Yeah.
think it would be the Supreme Court.
It is so fucking wild, right? Because the idea is that the Supreme Court, any court should not be writing law. They can determine precedent and they can determine how the law is applied and what sort of tests should be used to determine when a law is broken or not. They can better outline existing laws, but they can't write or overturn new laws unless it runs into like constitutional problems, right? It has to interfere with another superseding law in order for them to make it null.
Yes, that's their whole point in our
That
government.
is
Yeah,
the whole point.
that's their
In
job.
this case,
Mhm.
we have a Supreme Court justice saying, I recognize what the law says, I disagree with what the law says, and even though I disagree with it and I recognize that what I'm saying is wrong, I'm still going to be pissy about it and rule against what the law says.
What a bitch.
It is very frustrating and very stupid.
I
So
just
for
love
now,
that he says my.
mifepristone,
Yeah, go on.
and so yeah, for now, mifepristone will remain accessible throughout the U.S. So that is the good of it. At least there is, as controversial as some of the more recent Supreme Court nominees have been, they at least don't seem to be like genuinely psychotic yet. At
Give it a
least in
moment.
this moment.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, give it enough time, but like given the last three Supreme Court nominations that have been put through, I wouldn't expect them to be like fighting for top three. I would like they were on the other side of this dissent, right? It's the old people that are the ones taking problems with this.
I'm sorry, I'm
Oh,
just not going to sleep well tonight, knowing a Supreme
yeah,
Court
yeah,
justice
yeah.
said my opinion didn't
That's fair.
matter.
Right. My opinion doesn't matter because the big bad FDA is gonna ignore me.
Dude,
What?
your job is that you get to tell the FDA to fuck off when they are, like,
Yeah.
going
If
against your
the FD
opinion.
like if the FDA is doing something against the law or the law was not properly
Written.
understood at the time or
Yeah,
written right,
yeah.
that is your job to interfere. If you can't find something that fits that criteria, your job is not to be pissy and complain about it.
Now I don't want to do my job. I'm the
And then
Supreme
and
Court.
like and not even like I could deal with it if he was just like, I think that the government is corrupt, never mind that I'm the government, and then also just like still did his job. He went against the exact thing that he said his job is. Like he is tacitly admitting that by his voting to dissent he is doing something that is against the law as it is written.
Yes. And what are you going to do? Take them to the Supreme Court? Their opinion don't
Yeah,
matter.
exactly.
Oh, dude, that's gonna mess with me. Does that mean
It
my
doesn't sit right.
can I have his opinion status then if he's not going to use it?
If you don't want it, I'll take it for you. Yeah,
Dude,
I wish.
put me on the Supreme Court. It will be great. I'm going to run this place like fucking Judge Judy's court. If you could work in any branch of the top 3 positions in our government, Kyril, which would you choose?
Like if I could like run it completely.
Well, you have to run as a
Or
member of it.
as a member, so be a member of it. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
I feel like Supreme Court, just by the numbers, obviously gets the most power per person.
Yeah.
Being nine, it's pretty fixed. I, it's tricky for sure.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be president because all you are is just a fucking super senator, and Congress can just kick your ass out any
Right.
second. Yeah.
Yeah, the president has a lot of power for sure, but in an ideal world, I think the president should have less power than they do. This is very much a both sides kind of thing. The use of executive orders in the last 20 years, 25 years since it, for sure W
Yeah.
has far outstripped what it should serve to. You know, like there's pretty clear cut examples on pretty much every past president since the 2000s, where they have clearly overstepped the boundaries of what the average person thinks they should be able to do. Like Bush is obviously like gesturing vaguely to the entirety of Iraq and Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
Like going to war without making a declaration of war is like some Air Bud kind of bullshit. Well, I didn't say it's war, so it doesn't have to go through Congress. Huh? No, that's not how our government should function. What the fuck is wrong with you?
I'm using Airbud level of bullshit from now on.
Yeah, it really is.
That is really good. No,
So
no, I agree.
yeah,
I think,
yeah.
especially if you're
I
like in
wish
our age
I
group.
would, because I'm, young and optimistic, I would probably end up somewhere in Congress trying to make a difference that doesn't exist. Because that's in the ideal world of a representative democracy, that is where the democracy should be happening. It
No,
doesn't because our world is fucked, and particularly our country and part of it. But that's where it should be happening. So that's where I would want to be.
my friend, have you seen the delegates from the southern states?
Oh yeah, I have.
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Isn't she from Nevada?
I thought she was a representative of Georgia.
I could be wrong.
Let's see.
I guess it's kind of amusing. I apparently don't know how to spell her name.
Neither do I. Georgia.
Oh, it's spelled with a G or spelled with a J.
Georgia. I win.
I must be thinking of someone else then. Oh, Bobert is Colorado. That's what I was thinking of.
Bobert?
Yeah.
I forgot you
Another.
Yeah.
Speaking of the woke mind virus, let's talk about Twitter Blue.
Oh, shit.
This is like just remarkably stupid. And it's. You shared a really good tweet the other day about Twitter Blue.
Please.
And there's some great statistics in here. And I want to say before we get into it that we totally called it. There's already stories popping up of fake accounts scamming people with, Twitter Blue because the original Twitter accounts that had it have no longer had their check mark. So like the scams that we talked about are already happening.
Yes.
So that's great. So this is coming from Ben Collins, who was, it's kind of ironic posting on Twitter, talking about it. But like, that's kind of the fucking point. It's a platform. It's already established.
I just don't understand you how Elon expects to have like these people who have dedicated audiences that know who their audience, who they are, pretty much, right? And then
Yeah.
expect to be able to like give them their verification for a price and expect them to pay for it when they already have that audience that legitimizes them. Like the follower count. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
All right. So here's the hard facts. As of early April,
yo.
of the 407,000 Twitter accounts that had legacy verifications on them, 19,469 had Twitter Blue. As of today, of those same 407,000 accounts, 19,497 had Twitter Blue for a net gain of 28.
Didn't you say? Yeah.
Yeah, so say at a price of $8 per account, that works out
Yes.
to about 200. Not about that is $224. At my current rate, I make about that much, pre-tax, per day at my hourly rate for an 8-hour day.
Well, don't brag
I
too
make
hard.
228. So I fucking nobody made more money than Elon Musk did with Twitter Blue by getting rid of the legacy verification service.
Well, some of us don't get to make that kind of money every day, but that's still fucking hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I think I'm like off
And I
by a
don't mean it
small
as a,
bit.
a brag thing. I was just like, I did the math. I was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's a very low number.
Yeah.
Like even if you extrapolate that out to like a week, right?
Yo.
That is significantly below minimum wage. So if you earn minimum wage and work full time, you made more this week than Elon Musk did on Twitter Blue.
But that's also a monthly subscription.
It is, yes.
Yes.
So
So
this is like all of these are super generous, looking at like days and weeks or whatever,
yeah.
because it is that pitifully small. Uh, it's resulted in some further backlash. Would you imagine? I don't even call it backlash. Further stupidity as the number of high profile accounts who were previously verified and came out and basically said, I am not going to use Twitter Blue. Particularly, I believe, there's a couple of sports people, some politics people, but it's been very like lukewarm stuff, right? It's people talking shit about Twitter on Twitter, but they're still using the fucking platform. But Elon can't have that. His ego is already too fragile. So apparently, a number of is it some Twitter accounts with more than 1 million followers have had their blue badges reinstated by Twitter without having to pay to subscribe. And this leads to a number of questionable things, right? Because for one, it's just stupid and petty. And not even petty. It's like pathetic. Elon can't stand not getting the $8 a month that he would from like fucking Beyonce. So he has to manually go in and reinstate it. Because he can't possibly have the optics of these, famous people not having his blue check mark.
Well, he's treating this like it's Supreme or Gucci, and it's like a status
Yeah.
symbol. So he has to
Yeah.
make sure people have statuses.
Uh, one of the best things that I've seen comes from John Boyce, also, it's all on Twitter, talking about he says, all right, I'm going to try to tweet how every verified person tweets now. Here we go. One of the best ones is $8 really too much? Most people are pickpocketed for more than $8 every day. I am typically pickpocketed every 20 to 30 minutes.
Oh my god. That's really fucking good.
It is. It's great because there's people who are like legitimately arguing that. Like, oh, you buy Starbucks? You should give your money to Twitter instead, poor person. It's
Yes.
very funny how worked up these people are getting over it.
Starbucks at least provides caffeine. Caffeine can wake a person up. Some people don't get decent sleep, you jack off.
Yeah, well, not even that. Like, even if, like, I think it's not a stretch to say that there's a significant number of people who use Twitter who can financially afford to have $8 less per month on something like Twitter Blue.
Yeah.
They just don't want it because it doesn't serve them any utility.
It literally does nothing.
It is not worth that amount of money. So, beyond that, there has been some parts that are a bit more nefarious, to say the least. Part of it being that because of the blue checks being reinstated, blue checks are being reinstated to accounts of people who are dead, which is just kind of gross. Literally let the dead lie.
Yeah.
You don't need to bring them into your petty squabbles over people not giving you enough money. So,
Remember, did you see the tweet where Stephen King was like, I shouldn't have my check mark. Why do I have
mm-hmm.
my check mark? And then
Yeah.
Elon's like, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when you look at it, because before they used to have different types of verification messages, now all of them just say this person has verified their phone number and has Twitter Blue, which is just wrong
lies.
and is apparently flagrant violation of the Lanham Act in covering false endorsement. When a person's identity is connected with a product or service in such a way that consumers are likely to be misled about that person's sponsorship or approval of the product or service. Drill had a really good response being, it's okay, he fired the people in charge of telling him it's illegal.
That's hilarious. That's right.
Well, like, it's right, it's correct. So that's where we are with Twitter right now. Twitter Blue, unsuccessful. I mean, not even that. Like okay, Twitter Blue is probably fine. You see people with blue check marks all the time. I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna unfollow anyone with a blue check mark. I know plenty of people in like esports that legitimately use it to get better promotion. I'm not gonna fault somebody who's like legitimately trying to make a business out of their online presence for spending money to get better promotion of their content.
No,
That's
that's
just
just
how the fucking
business.
world works.
Yeah.
I don't care. But Elon being such a petty little idiot about it is the stupid part. And it's fun to laugh at him. So let's do that a little more
Oh, can we talk about the leaker dude who's like fucking going to jail?
in a second
Okay,
because I want to finish bashing on Elon first.
please.
Where uh sort of a two-parter. As some context, the My Pillow guy recently lost a lawsuit over a contest that he ran for people to prove him wrong on the election misinformation that he was spreading. Where he made an actual contest with a $5 million prize that he would give to anybody who can prove that his claims were wrong. And somebody took him up on that and proved that they were wrong, and he refused to pay. And he got taken to the courts over it
Good.
and had to pay up this week.
Good.
So naturally, Elon, seeing somebody else's name being in the news, good or bad, decided that he would try the same. And he said, and this is only, it's not an official contest like the My Pillow guy did, so he probably won't get sued over this, but he said that he would pay $1 million to anybody who can prove the, rampant stories about how he got his starts from his parents' emerald mine.
No.
And do you know who came to counter that argument the first?
His dad?
His own fucking father.
No, you're kidding me.
I am not. His own father came and did an interview saying, yeah, we got our money from the emerald mines. This isn't a secret. Elon was going to school in South Africa. He wasn't enjoying it, so we used the money that we had earned to send him to school in America. And we paid to make sure that he could do that.
Yo.
His own fucking father couldn't resist the allure
Dude.
of the potential of 1 million buckaroos and went and did an interview refuting his own son's statement.
What a Chad. I'm sure he's a piece
It's
of shit too, but
yeah.
that's a piece
Oh,
of
he's
shit I
been
respect.
he ran fucking emerald blood mines, right? Like
Yeah.
he is without question a giant piece of shit. But it
But
is also very funny.
he's a funny piece of shit. Damn.
But yeah, we can talk about that Discord leaker thing. I
Oh,
don't get why it's such news.
it's like which one are you talking about? The dude who owes money or the dude that
So
kind of
which one are you talking about? I guess because
there's
I guess there's
two.
a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we can just kind of do both of them since they're both kind of
Yeah.
small stories. So like this is just me watching people get like high off the Twitter verification vibe where they get like all these promoted tweets now.
Mm-hmm.
Motherfucker puts it into the feed now because we're all pretty much seeing the tweets.
Mm.
Um,
Yes.
that he got a early copy of Tears of the Kingdom, the big Nintendo game,
Yep.
and he was going to leak it live on Twitter with Twitter Blue
Yeah.
with advanced, algorithm preference.
Yep.
Do you see the problem here?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's going to get sued to fucking hell and back.
Probably. There's actually it's very timely. Magic the Gathering had a huge leak of
Yo.
the next upcoming set.
Ooh.
They have a small set that's only 50 cards coming up in a few weeks here that's supposed to be previewed, and somebody got access to like a collector booster box case and put videos up on YouTube of them opening them all up. So now we're like a week and a half away from when preview season is supposed to start, and the whole set's already been released or leaked.
Love it.
100% of it. And yeah, it's the same thing where if you do that, Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast has already confiscated all the cards and is looking to figure out where he got them from. And if it turns out that he's like a store owner or something and illegally was opening and distributing the information related to them, he's going to be in a world of hurt.
Hurt doesn't describe it.
Yeah.
So don't they have like to sign contracts for that kind of shit?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Fuck.
In this case, if this is somebody who like legitimately got a copy of it that just leaked out, there's probably not a ton Nintendo can do. Um, they could take down the streams
Yeah.
and DMCA them, but there's not a ton like legally that they could do beyond that.
Unlike
And
this second
those
guy.
DMCA claims would probably be illegitimate if somebody actually in them. If this is somebody who is a seller of the game, though, then they're in big trouble. I remember No Man's Sky had a
Oh.
similar thing happen. Remember where
Yeah.
like 5 days, not even, it was like a few weeks before the launch, a copy went up for sale on eBay, and some dude bought it and he put up gameplay video of it, and nothing really happened because that there's nothing illegal about buying a legitimate copy of the game that squeaked out. It, they would have to prove that that copy was illegally acquired at some stage somehow. And as far as I could tell, they couldn't do that. And very could be the same situation here, but I kind of doubt it. It's what's the simplest answer? Somebody who should have a copy of it, like a game store, decided they wanted some internet clout, and they.
So now
Mhm.
here's another big leaguer, right?
Mhm.
I've seen this go very viral, and it's kind of like a fake news thing, but it's also very real. Have
Yeah,
you heard about the guy who's got garnished wages from Nintendo for the next like
I did.
yes
Forever, basically.
forever,
Where it's
20
something
to
like
30%.
30%, 20 to 30. Yeah.
Yeah, 20% to 30% of his salary.
Yep.
Now here's the interesting thing about this guy, right?
Yep.
Dude was running a Switch like jailbreaking service,
Yeah.
which would allow you to like download pretty much anything from off the eShop or anything like that. So
Yeah. It
actual piece of
was.
shit.
Yeah. And it wasn't like he was doing this open source. He was charging for it. He made something like $5 million doing
He also put ransomware on them as well, so that he could brick your Switch whenever
it.
you wanted and may pay him more.
What a great guy.
Yeah, I hope he gets to
Yeah.
keep all of his paychecks in the future. What a nice gentleman. I hope he pays all. I have a
The, reason that I was hearing that it was like at all newsworthy even was because the guy's last name is Bowser.
yeah. That's the hilarious part.
Yeah.
That's the punchline.
Because he wasn't the only one doing this. There was like three or four other people,
Yes.
excuse me, that were at a similar level of co-ownership of this business that are probably also having their wages garnished similarly, but their last name's not Bowser, so it's not news.
No. It's like Doug Bowser. No one would have cared if who
Right.
became Nintendo president after Reggie. What they wanted was Doug Bowser.
Mm-hmm.
What
Pretty much.
what else do we have for the news today?
Shit is about to go down in Sudan. There's not a ton to talk about right now.
Yes.
Not that I am knowledgeable enough to, at least. There is for sure a ton that can be talked about here as the situation is escalating and seeming to lean towards the angle of internal conflict within Sudan. But the big news now is that multiple national embassies, I've heard specifically from US and Ireland, that the embassies that they have in Sudan have issued strict warnings to any nationals of their countries respectively to report to the embassy to basically be removed from the country as soon as possible, which is
Yes.
not a good sign.
Sudan is wild.
Yeah.
I would also
Um
like to point out when we did our next
mhm.
American invasion bet,
Mhm.
I did say Sudan would be my country. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
so far, that's a horrible thing to say, but yeah, so
So
far I'm right.
says the U.S. military airlifted embassy officials out of Sudan on Sunday, and international governments raced to evacuate their diplomatic staff and citizens trapped in the capital as rival generals battled for control of Africa's third largest country for a ninth day. Fighting raged in Omdurman, the city across the Nile from Sudan's capital, Khartoum. Residents reported the violence came despite a declared truce that was to coincide with the 3 day Muslim holiday of Eid al Fitr. From Amin al Tayid, we did not see such a truce. Said saw heavy gunfire and thundering explosions rocked the city. So, not good.
Yeah,
Very not good.
no, it's genuinely that Sudan's a country with a very complex political history, and this is just
Yes,
more of a large domino effect altogether.
for sure. So there's apparently a power struggle between the Sudanese military led by General Abdel Fattah Burham and the Rapid Support Forces led by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo. Has dealt a harsh blow to Sudan's heady hopes for a democratic transition. In some more uplifting news, I was talking about this before the show with you. We had some really cool science that came out this week. There's
Yo.
cool science that's happening all the time, but this is like real sci-fi shit. And
So
it's super easy. Like if you have like a basic understanding of like biology and uh, like nervous systems and stuff, is the kind of thing where it's just kind of just like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I get that. Apparently, this is what I was learning as part of this. The way that the human body tells itself to, where to put its effort into healing wounds, open wounds where, new cells need to be generated, is apparently done with the process of using different electrical differentials. So near an injury, the sensors and receptors there detect that something is wrong and signal that healing is needed at this part by inducing an electrical current that encourages other parts of the body to respond to that electrical current, and the healing process starts. Let me see if I can figure out what this is. A group of scientists from the Chalmers University of Technology in Sweden, using the same concept, have found that by applying artificial electrical stimulation, they are able to also induce that same wound response. And by carefully controlling it, they can even speed the process up to 3 times as fast as it typically would be, which is super neat. Hasn't been done in, live real people yet. This is all very test tube, petri dish type science.
yeah.
But as like a proof of concept kind of thing, it's super cool and very very sci-fi, right? Like fast healing suits and stuff, right? Like this is literally it. You can very easily imagine a medical device, or not even necessarily a medical device, just a device on your person. Think like near automata, right? Where they have like the little robot guy that flies around following them. You
Yes.
have a little robot that flies around following you, coupled with, camera systems to monitor for any injuries you might have. And then if you get injured in some way, it zooms over to the injury, applies the necessary electrical current to promote and speed up the healing process in real time. Super cool. Long way to go before we get to anything quite like that, but still very very cool.
I have so much respect for the sciences, especially coming from a guy who studied the humanities in college like a fool.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, nah, nah. The humanities are better. So
For
when's DARPA
news,
taking over? Oh, sorry.
what's DARPA taking over? Yeah, uh, imminently. Now that I have said the words military-industrial complex, it has flagged their systems, and they are moving to secure the technology.
Oh shit, they're probably going to secure this recording too. Ugh. So you were saying?
For
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying for news, that's kind of all I have, unfortunately. Some neat things, some other stuff, but nothing too groundbreaking. And unfortunately, it's kind of the same way in the film space right now, where we only have one real release this week,
Damn.
being the new Evil Dead movie,
Oh yeah, I forgot we were
the
doing that.
fifth one. It is surreal to live in a time where we can get, like Halloween 7, Evil Dead 5. We're getting these movie sequels that are very far along in their, the franchise, and they're not bad.
Horror movies, I feel, have a different bar of what's good for them.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can get away with a lot more in a horror movie than you would say like
Mm-hmm.
a Star Wars movie.
For sure. I'm always reminded of the Spaceballs joke where they're talking about, poking at fun at movie sequels, and they say, talking. I can't remember the exact quote of it, but it's the gist is talking about like, oh, we have an upcoming movie review for Rocky 5000. You know, and that was back in like the 80s and 90s where that trend was just sort of starting to kick off, and then where they had gotten up to like Rocky 3, and they were already picking fun at it.
There are 6 motherfucking Rocky movies and then 3 Creed movies, so that's like 9
Yeah,
movies in that franchise.
only 4,991 to go.
I mean, I'm I'm tempted to watch all the Rocky movies and the Creed movies because I think this is
Hmm.
actually a decent film franchise. Mainly because I've only seen Creed and the original Rocky.
Yeah, I guess for the Creed movies, at the very least, they've all been. None of them have been negatively reviewed. I know that for a fact because we covered at least two of them.
Yeah, we have, haven't we?
You know, with three just coming out, I remember when two came out, it was fine,
Yeah,
right? Like most movies, it was fine.
yeah.
So,
Creed 1 is very visually beautiful. I will say that. It's
mhm,
like got really good lighting in that movie.
yeah.
It's because like how well Ryan Coolidge like does the lighting in those movies that I'm excited for Creed 2 and 3. I'm probably going to wait till
Hmm.
3 comes up on streaming to watch 2 and 3 together.
Yeah,
So I'll
that's fair.
probably just entertain myself with the Rocky in the meantime.
Hmm.
But regardless, yeah, when do you think we will stop with these franchises? Because I kind of miss original movies.
When do the franchises stop making all the money?
Oh shit.
I feel like we have. I feel like we have some differing opinions on the Super Mario movie, but I think we can both kind of agree that at its worst, it's just fine. It's harmless at the very least,
Yeah,
and it's making all the fucking money in the world.
it is.
So once movies that are just fine stop making shitloads of money, we'll start to get new stuff.
Oh shit. Well, that's not
Still,
happening.
never.
Yeah. If there's anything the Mario movie has taught me is that really we just don't want originality. We just want something different.
Hmm. That's the scale of what movies are making today always surprises me. Like I've looked at the stupid fucking box office mojo list probably 100 times, and it never ceases to surprise me just how ridiculous the film industry has gotten.
Mm-hmm.
So Super Mario Bros. Movie current earnings $870 million on the box office list. What number do you think that puts it?
That scares me.
Yeah, it's lower than I thought.
Shit. Okay, I'm going with 27.
Nope, not even close.
53,
Nope,
162.
not quite that bad. 79.
Whoa.
A movie making like the cutoff for $1 billion movie is 51. Like you can make $1 billion film and not even crack the top 50 now. That's where we're at.
And I thought our economy's problems was, that crypto ruined it so bad. No, it's the
Mm-hmm.
fucking movie industry that's hoarding all the money. Jesus.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I do love that uh Jurassic Park, 1993, lifetime gross of 1.1 billion. Um, Jurassic World Dominion 2022 barely cracks a billion.
Good. That movie was shit.
Yeah.
On the topic of Mario movies and whatnot,
Hmm.
on the Mario movie, we did get
Yeah.
confirmation from Miyamoto. We are getting more Nintendo movies.
Yeah. Like there was any doubt.
Really? He was just saying otherwise to be polite.
I'm curious what the context of it was. reconfirmed to Japanese news site Nihon Kaisa Shimbu that there is no doubt he will make another film based on Nintendo franchises. Yeah, that tends to happen when you are on track to make $1 billion. Curious. Let me pull that back up real quick. I'm gonna skim this and see if there is another Illumination movie that's ranked higher. I feel like there probably is.
I feel like
Yeah,
Illumination would be freaking out if this was their highest grossing film.
yeah. And there's time for it to still overtake other stuff. Like Secret Life of Pets is there. I'm sure there's gonna be multiple of the fucking Minions movies up there too. Yeah. It's very easy to just kind of gloss over the scale of the film industry.
Well, yeah, because we think, ha ha ha, silly movies, not that much of an
Mm-hmm.
economical powerhouse.
Yeah. Yeah. Minions. Let me double check. This is that. Yeah, it's that Minions was made $1.1 billion.
Fuck that.
That's interesting. They have a spot for miscellaneous records. This is the Hall of Avengers, apparently. That's
Oh, the ones
amazing.
that they don't want to acknowledge because they don't like to acknowledge the Avengers movies.
Well, no, this is like fastest to X dollars.
Oh, okay.
So like fastest from 100 million to 650 million is all Endgame. Then Star Wars Episode 7 takes over. Um, the top opening grosses by days in release is all Avengers Endgame, and then the rest of it is like a spattering of what Lion King, Toy Story, and a handful of others. It's funny. This is actually kind of interesting. They have a chart for slowest to various milestones. So, like, slowest to $150 million is The Sting.
Okay.
Slowest to 450 million. I guess when you get to a certain point, it kind of like self excludes a lot of stuff. That doesn't say too much. Yeah. Anything else? I'm pretty tapped out here.
Um, Not unless the audience just wants to hear me play the bass for the next half an hour so we can make our bare minimum of an hour and a half like we used to.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm tapped out. I think we're good to call it here because,
All right.
well, let's face it, a slow news week sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
It's
us.
how it goes.
Yeah.
Um, we will be off next week. I'm gonna be out of town, so
Oh, you just reminded me of like how John Oliver signs off. Guess a public interest story. Did you notice Wood TV 8 was in the newest episode of Last Week Tonight?
where are they? I
Yeah,
didn't catch that.
yeah, because when they were talking about the farm hands, they were bringing up a report from Wood TV 8.
Oh, I did see that there was like talking about Michigan and stuff. I didn't catch that it was TV. That's cool.
That is pretty cool. Good to know the
Yeah,
place I
that's
almost
that's
worked
neat.
for is acknowledged as real journalism by real journalism.
Yeah, they do good stuff. They
Yeah, I
haven't
would
sold
say so.
out yet.
Yet.
Give it time.
Anyway, I'm Miss Ryan, and I've been a schmo.
I'm Cairo, and I'm also a schmo.
And this has been the Two Schmo Show.